do you do when your home sellers won't listen to you, their real estate professional, and they won't accept the realities of today's market, that they're stuck in the past? Well, let's figure out what we're really dealing with here. This is 2025 when I'm making this video. Now, this video is going to apply to 26, 27, 28, so just sub in whatever year it is. Sellers get themselves married to the best possible time while they've been in that house. And when we look at the real estate markets of 2025, it is very uneven. Some areas are doing better than others, and even in great areas or in mediocre areas, some houses outperform others. We would call that a normal market where there is no uniformity. However, your home sellers probably remember 2021 and the height of the COVID market. They saw every house that stuck a sign out have 1,000 offers right away with no inspections and no appraisals, and surely it's going to be that easy. And that was just a weird moment in time. That whole COVID era was a strange real estate market. And now that we're in a normalized market, your sellers have to be educated as to what's going on. Now, if you're a real estate professional, this video is going to help you get better at real estate. And if you're not in real estate, these are questions you can ask that professional realtor when they come to your house, and you'll figure out very quickly who is an educated professional and who is in there trying to slide by on the least possible amount of work. Now, the number one thing you should know so that your sellers can make good educated decisions about pricing and about where they're going is days on market. How long are houses staying on market where you are? Now, in my area, if it's a mega subdivision, I might pull my days on market based on that subdivision. But if I am looking at a smaller town like Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, which is population 2,000, I might look at the days on market in the whole town. But if I looked at the days on market in all of Concord, which is 110,000 people, that's a lot of different micro markets inside one area. So drill down your information and know exactly what you're talking about. And why do you want to know days on market? Listen here. Your sellers, when they look back at that high moment in time of 20 and 21, there were no days on market. Houses were selling right away unless the agent held it for 2 days to get as many offers as possible. Now, as we move back to a normalized market where you may have 30 days on market in some areas and 60 in others and 10 over here, it's going to be very relevant to your sellers because that's where you're setting expectations. If the house is going to sell overnight, they better be fully prepared for where they're going next. But if it's going to take 60 days, they've got to have a reasonable expectation about how to manage showings. These are entirely different ways to manage the home selling process. And the reality is this: your sellers can only adjust to what they've been educated on. Now, your seller's going to know their days on market. So if your days on market are, for example, 28, and your people are moving from one state to the other, I'm the agent where they're buying. Hey, what's up, ringy dingy? I call that agent back in Colorado and I say, hey, the people that you represent in the sale are here with the purchase. How long is it going to take that house to sell out there? I expect that listing agent to know days on market and not say, well, I don't really know, because that means the sellers don't really know. If you're going to be a great professional realtor, know your numbers. By the way, consumers, if you're interviewing agents, if they know that the market average is 30 days on market, you should then ask them, what's your average? Because a good agent can tell you how they stack up in comparison to the market. Now, the other way our sellers can get adjusted to reality has to do with the second important thing, and that's pricing. Prices, again, during the COVID market were flying up. They didn't have any relationship at all to comparable sales, but in a normal market, there is a relationship to the listing price and recent sales. Now, in the old history of real estate, as in 25 years ago when I first got in, we looked at 6 months worth of data. Now, our appraisers, and that's where I go for great information, always talk to your appraisers, y'all. My appraisers will say they'd like to have it in the last 90 days. That gives them a recent snapshot of the market. You might look at 6 months worth of data if there haven't been many sales in that 90-day window, but I want to know what buyers are paying right now, because right now's market is different than last fall. And it's probably going to be different than 6 months from now. My sellers need to know what is under contract right now, how long did it take it to sell, and what do those prices look like? When the market is normalizing, you'll start to notice that the people that are selling tend to have a reason to sell. So that might mean that you've shown 8 houses and all 8 of them look distressed. Well, that's an indicator of what's coming into the market, but you still want to compare those to what's available and what's gone under contract. I have found that it's a great opportunity to educate sellers, put them in your car, and let them go see those 8 houses on the market right when they list so they know how they stack up compared to their competition. One house that I recently sold, the buyers were floored by what a deal that last house was, because as compared to the competition, it was clean, it was updated, and it was priced the same as other houses that were not clean and not updated. So those competitors made this one sell. And if you're the one selling a house, the last thing you want is to be that pinball bumper that bounces the ball off. You want to be the winner in the house selling competition. So if you want your sellers to accept reality, you got to give them the data, and sometimes you got to show them the data. Now, the third thing you have to do is probably the first one. I probably have my steps all out of order here, but what I want you to know is this. I want you to know that you have permission from your sellers to tell them the honest truth, because some reasons might add up to, said that wrong. Edit at the 6.5 mark. Sometimes the reason your sellers don't adjust to reality, you never told them anything. Too many agents walk into a listing opportunity and they bring their information, they print it from the computer, and they bring the company's marketing folder, and then they treat the seller like it's every other seller on the planet. That's just not how selling a house goes, y'all. If you want your sellers to lean into the realities of the market, you need to lean into the reality of what your seller is dealing with. If they're in the middle of a very contentious divorce, honor that by listening to the scenario and helping them figure out how they can navigate their way to the other side of that house. And that is only going to happen when you've listened first and then provided your information. And then also when you start talking to people about selling the house, you may occasionally find somebody who does not need to sell. And you can tell them, look, you've got a 3% interest rate and there's nothing that you want remotely close to this on the market. So stay put and give it a year. The best way sometimes to get your sellers to reality is not just the data and the listening, but the honesty. So if you want your sellers to have a successful time on the market and know more about how this process should actually work, then be the professional who's going to bring them the full picture. Now, if this has helped you a little bit and you're in Cabarrus County, you can call me to sell your house or help you buy one. I'd love to help you. And if you're an agent anywhere, this is kind of why you want to sign up for coaching with me. So reach out to me and let me know how I can help. Real estate can be better when each one of us decides to make our own real estate practice different.